Hello, welcome to Intersection Chats. I am Reme Mancera, a personal brand story strategist, and I'm here with.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, hello. Um, yeah, can you tell us who you are and what do you do?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Joe, or SEO Joe. And if that didn't give it away, I do SEO. And I'm really interested in talking about the overlap between SEO and personal brand today because it's something I'm quite passionate about, to be honest.
Nice. Yeah, so we are going to talk about that connection and that intersection of our both our topics. So let's start. Based on your own experience, how do you think this connection happens? So how do you think SEO strategy affects personal brand story and the other way around?
There's actually a huge overlap between SEO and personal brand and branding. A lot of people assume that SEO is just the techie, unseen bits that you do on your website, but it's actually everything that you put on your website, including all of the content, the images, and everything. So there needs to be the connection between what you're putting on your website and your personal brand story, because this ultimately is what makes your business unique to everyone else's. So when people are searching things on Google and in AI, they are getting more and more specific about what they want or who they want to provide that service, that product. So it's really important that you're putting as much detail on your website about what makes you different to all of your competitors. So having that personal brand, something that people can really feel connected to, is vital in SEO and your website these days. And like I say, AI, because that's becoming more and more popular every day as well.
Yeah, yeah, 100% agree. I believe that because SEO is around positioning and it's like, okay, using your story as a tool to help position your brand is so powerful and also authority building. So how you can use your personal brand story to highlight what makes you someone trustworthy and someone that people want to invest in their solutions. So I agree how they overlap, and also in the different aspect of SEO, because it's like there are like different layers, as you said, like the tech part, but also there is more of different aspect to it. And now, especially with the income of the AI, I know that the things are a bit like some kind of uncertainty around this, and how it's going to affect and all that. So I would love for you to share with us a bit about that. What is your thoughts on this new situation that we are living now, having AI in the formula now?
It's really stirred things up in the SEO world. SEO, as we know it, is still vitally important because it lays the foundation for getting found on AI. So if you're thinking that you don't need SEO anymore, then I'm afraid you're wrong, because it's still the fundamental part of getting featured in AI. But AI now is even more, um, what's the word? You need brand even more with AI because AI looks for brand mentions across the web. And that doesn't mean if someone has linked to your website, which is the case with SEO when you get link building, you get people linked to your site and it builds your authority. But in AI, anyone that mentions your brand, your business name,
Hmm.
without even linking, it gets picked up by AI. So the more you're building your brand and getting your name out there across different platforms, that's how you're going to get visible in AI. And in fact, There's been lots of research done, and that seems to be uh, one of, if not the top ranking factor in AI. So that AI doesn't care if you're ranking on number one for Google for something. You might be on page 5 in
Mm,
Google for a specific term or question. But if AI is picking up that all of these different businesses, social medias, press, etc., are linking or mentioning you, then you are going to get cited in the likes of ChatGPT and Google AI, Google Overviews, Gemini, and all of that sort of thing. So,
mm,
so like I say, the brand aspect now is it's just gone up another level. It's now essential to have personal brand and be really clear on your positioning and your brand messaging, to obviously get mentioned by various people and businesses, to
mm.
build your
Yeah,
business.
this is like then a new scenario where collaboration is even more important, and you putting yourself in other spaces. And I see now with that you mentioned is like, okay, because before, whenever you do a some kind of podcast guesting or blog guesting, the focus were a lot about how you get a link and the proper way how this link needs to be. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
that's still valid, like need to be follow link and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And now will be more about being there and people mentioning you, and then more signals that you are in several spaces, but not necessarily having the link and the proper way of your link. So this is interesting in a way of how like your reputation building and your positioning will evolve in a different aspect where you need to focus on. So yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah, it really is. And like I say, building links is still important. Like, it's not dead. It will still help build the authority of your website. It will still help the foundations of SEO. So having people link to your site is no bad thing. Always encourage it if people offer it in return for a podcast or being featured in the press or whatever it is. It's just in terms of AI only, not so much SEO, but AI only, don't need the link. They're just looking for your brand name,
Mm.
um, which is also why the building of your reputation. So things like if you get a Google review,
Mm-hmm.
someone leaves you a well, any star review, 5-star review, whatever, you need to reply to that review always. It shows that you are trustworthy, that you're a real company, that you care. So it is really about your reputation. So, you know, just it's it's just so important that you're differentiating yourself from
Mm.
other businesses who offer the same thing.
And this made me think, because I am always looking for creative ways to use your personal brand story. So this made me think about how you can use your personal brand story even in your replies to the reviews. When I mention using your personal brand story, I am not looking for I am not thinking of sharing your whole story, your origin story. I work with the 10 story connector. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe you just mention briefly something related to a story, that if the person has the context, they know more of it. If they don't have it, they get curious about it and they might be interacting with you more. So you can mention things in a briefly way where, I don't know, let's say you have a skill that it was valuable for you in a previous work experience. So maybe you just casually mention how, when I was, I don't know, I know someone that is, I work with someone that she's a life coach and was before working in a lab as a scientific. And it's like, as she can mention, just as a, when I work in the lab, I know my skills about questioning status quo, so and so. And it's not that she need to share the whole story, but just mentioning something that is connected to other scenarios where she's sharing the whole story. So maybe there is a place where we can use storytelling even in the replies of the reviews, and doing our reviews space as a place where we show up, where we because as you know, storytelling and personal brand stories specifically will help us to create the connection. So of course we want the SEO, of course we want the positioning with Google, but especially we want the connection with the person and the positioning of for in their mindset of how they look at us, how they see us as someone trustworthy and someone that they can work with. So there is like the two aspects, and I feel that sometimes this in SEO advice sometimes gets like a second role, and I believe that they need to interact. What is your opinion on that?
I definitely agree. I think wherever you can use your brand story and your brand messaging, you absolutely need to. So if you can pinpoint something specific that someone's written in a review, and you can reply using something personal to them in that way, then that's all the better, because it shows you understand them and where you're coming from. I think you can always add a good mixture of empathy and authority and marry them up across your content to show that you understand what people's issues are, but you also want to project yourself as the authority in that space because of XYZ, because you've been through that before yourself, because you've been studying for 10 years and you've got the qualifications, or because you've built your business over however long and you've had the same experiences, or it's something that you can really help with because you've got ideal clients also in that space that are similar to that person. So it's getting to know exactly who your ideal clients are. And that doesn't always mean, well, they've got to be a woman in their 40s who has 3 kids. It's not always that specific. It may be based on what industry they're in or the location they're at. So I think over the years, I'm sure you've done this too, where you get so super specific. You get told by the experts that you've got to build an avatar of exactly the person that you're talking to, which may help in some instances. Some, if you're a coach, maybe, but I think it's less about getting the fact that it's a 45-year-old woman with 3 kids who has a dog who goes to Tesco every week. It's more about generally location, what their issues are, how specifically you can help with those issues. Because once you know that, then you know what to write in your content, and the base of your content comes from your website. Things like social media, email campaigns feed into your website, because in most cases, the website is where you sell your services, your courses. So if you don't get that right to begin with, then it kind of means your social media and everything else won't work as well, because it's like the engine room of all of the content you produce. So yeah, getting that nailed first and foremost. And I know, like I said at the start, a lot of people think, well, SEO, that's not branding, that's not website design. But it is, because SEO feeds into absolutely every aspect of your website. It feeds into design, it feeds into content writing, it feeds into the links that you produce, how you set out your website, how you structure it, the headings that you use. It's I've described it before as the engine room. So developers, they need to be talking to SEO. Designers need to be talking to SEO. Marketers, salespeople. So it is literally the central hub of everything, and it should be the first focal point of your content. So with SEO, you usually focus on a few keywords, key phrases, but now with AI, we want to be lumping in questions people are asking about maybe the services or whatever that you provide. So it's really thinking about not just keywords, but questions people are asking. And from there, those words and phrases is what social content we need to be creating around that, so that we get known for those words and phrases people associate with them, because all of our content talks around them. Um,
Mm.
so
Yeah,
how the branding is becoming more important,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah. And as you said now about the question, as this is showing how important it is for us to know who we are talking to, because otherwise you don't know the question that they might be asking. And I love that you brought the idea of the avatar. How for me it's the same. It's not about the demographics of the
Hmm.
person. It's
Yeah.
more about what is the moment, what is the situation that they are living, what is the thing that they want to solve or they want help with, how they phrase it, how they are, what are the solutions that they are looking for. So having that information will help you to decide or to think about, okay, what are the questions that they are asking, how I can reply them, how will they look for that kind of help. And that, as you say, is like an ecosystem where all the parts, I feel that if you are investing in the sense of your time, your effort, and then your money as well, like if
Hmm.
you are investing into creating content or into email marketing or in your website SEO, everything needs to be like cohesive in a sense, because otherwise you will feel like you are investing in something and doing something that is counterintuitive with that, or maybe fighting in a sense. It's like, okay, how to make sure that everything works well together.
Hmm.
Again, not just for Google and the other engines, or even the AI, but also for the humans that are arriving to your website, arriving to your sales pages, um, having to do this, have to make the decisions, this is the right thing for me or not. So helping them to figure it out, to have an informed decision. And there is where I highlight the idea of using your storytelling for that, for helping them to decide and to see if you are the good fit or not, or how they are connecting with you or not. So using that in your personal brand story in the ecosystem, of course also in the having in mind the SEO. And then the idea of the question, I love that, because then when you are using your storytelling in to answering question, you create more specific answer. And back to this idea that you mentioned about how when you reply to reviews, is like, if you are doing in a way where the people feel that you have read the question, did their review, and then provide a proper answer to them, you are seeing them, you are understanding what they are mentioning, and you are grateful because of the review that they have, is like how much you will appreciate, especially when we see all these copy, like cookie cutter messages, templates, and things like that. That
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, I love using my own templates from my own things, but we see this fill the blank, and it's like, yeah, you can feel that there are not human nitty there. So adding something where I see that you have properly read and you are sharing, like doing it with intention. And this is, I think, is valid for all the ecosystem that we are talking about. It's of course for SEO, for personal brand story, but for anything related to the business, is like how you put your intention into what you do, and how you make sure that you are, yeah, putting effort and focus in the things that are helping you to get in touch with people that you are going to help, and all that. So I love
Yeah.
that you bring that.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's the age old saying, isn't it, that people buy from people. So I can't remember, I heard this fact the other day. I heard somewhere that Richard Branson has something like 4.4 million followers on whatever platform it is, but Virgin has like 250,000 or something, because people are more invested in Richard Branson than they are Virgin, because
Mm.
he's the human and people are inspired by him. So they're more interested in what he is doing more so than Virgin, for example. So, and you're absolutely right that that personal touch in everything that you write. I mean, I've heard recently people moaning about on LinkedIn, they can tell when they've got an AI comment, for example, because it's so generic. But when people are reading your posts, reading your content, and leave like a, you know that they've read it and they understand and they comment in a way that is, you know, it's just nice to read. That's the difference, to
Yeah.
have that human connection in your content, across the web. So not just on your
Yeah.
website, just everywhere, social media. It makes such a huge difference. Um, and I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm getting so many emails lately that are just so AI generated that I just instantly delete them because you can tell straight away.
Mm.
Um, they've often they get like an AI to scan through your website, pick out bits. Oh, I see that you did this and this. It must have been fun to, you know, build websites back in the day. It's like read, you haven't read my website. You've got
Yeah.
an AI to summarize it, and you can tell.
Yeah.
So the personal aspect is, in the world of AI, is more key than ever, um,
Mm.
to really get that human element across. Um, because I mean, I go back to again that people think SEO is techie and just the background stuff, but everything works for. It's always about users first. So technical elements like your website might be slow. Yes, it's a technical issue, but it's because of the user experience of the person on the other end. So that's like the first thing. If your website's slow, they're going to click out, and you want them to have a good experience, of your website. So all of these little things, if you've got broken pages, they're annoying. But that all comes down to user experience and trying to make that connection with your potential client or customer.
Mm.
So it's everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, I love that idea of like having really clear how user first is the important part here,
Mm-hmm.
because for example, when I'm working with people around personal brand story, and some of them maybe what they want is refreshing the about me page. So these are related to SEO and how you use there, like answer the questions, right? So
Yeah,
this one of the most visited pages, I believe, in someone page. So how important is that there? You can see, you can share with the user when they arrive, they can have an understanding, they can have the context of you are, how you are helping them, but also why are you doing this? Why
yeah,
you are focusing on a specific problem? Why you are decided to work with a specific group of people? So this is about not just putting all the keywords or answering the question that will show in the in Google, but it's also about the user having, like, yeah, understanding. Okay, I understand who is this person. I understand why they are doing this and what is the context and what has been their background. So I feel, as you say, when you have user first in mind, that will help SEO, that will help reputation, that will be help positioning. So I love that you bring that
yeah,
aspect. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. And a lot of, businesses that I've worked with haven't even had an about page. And not only is it really good, obviously, as you've just mentioned, for building like who am I actually going to be working with here, kind of thing. But also, Google and AI are looking for the the know, like, and trust. They're
Mm-hmm.
looking for. You may have heard of Google's EAT, EEAT, which is
Mm-hmm.
expertise, experience, authority, and trust.
Mm-hmm.
Well, having an about page is a huge trust signal to Google, to show that you are genuinely a like a legit company with real humans working there. So it's not only good for the brand and getting to know who this person or these people are in the company, but it's a massive trust issue as well. So with Google's Eat, it's so important again that you have this personal brand, this branding going throughout all of your website and your content, because it builds exactly what these search engines are looking for: your authority, that people trust you, showing your experience on your website and your expertise, and that all comes from you as a person, or if you're a bigger company, where you started from and now you've grown your company from there. So they're massive factors that a lot of people overlook, but they're crucial. People just think, oh, they don't need to know. I don't need an about page. They don't need to know about me. They're interested in what I am selling, but it's usually not true. You may think now with massive brands like Nike, you probably aren't so bothered to go to their about page, even if they have one, because they're hugely established and everyone knows them by now. But for small business, solo business in particular, it's you have to have an about page. So if you haven't got one, make one.
Yeah, I would say so because even just when you analyze how you behave as a consumer, you will see, for example, I know for myself, I will go and check the About Me page for sure to see who is behind this, especially when I arrive to a page, let's say an agency, and there is all these stock images everywhere. And it's like, okay, this is a real
Mm-hmm.
thing or not, or it's just this face and then I don't know who is behind and what is that. So I will look for trust sign-ups, for real uh sign-ups. And this is something, when you talk about the trust, I'm really interested into this because I believe that story, personal brand story specifically, is a trust building tool and you can use, and this is something that I try to help my clients with the 10 story connectors and how they can use it to build trust. But I think that also going in the other way around with SEO, when you search for in Google and your name is there and your business is there and you are going there, this is a trust factor as well for me as a consumer. When I go there and I see that your website showing there and your details are there and it's not random, I am not sure if these are like established business or not. When you
Yeah,
see that in the results are from the same person that you are looking, that gives you trust as a
definitely.
consumer.
Yeah. So having the Google business profile, and you can get one on Bing. So set up, if you haven't set up a Google business profile, do it, because it is probably the biggest trust factor that Google looks for, that you are a legit business, because you have to prove your business, etc. So it's not just some made up company. And you can do the same on Bing, because Bing powers Chat GPT as well.
Okay.
So it's good to build your profile on all of these. The Apple have got one and all sorts. Just create one everywhere. If you've got a specific location for your business, get it on Google Maps so that people can find you and you will come up in local search. But also, the key part of Google Business Profile is the reviews.
Mm-hmm.
So I've noticed with my clients, for example, that whenever we get a 5-star review, seem to get a little bit more traffic and then might get a little increase in sales, for example,
Mm-hmm.
because it's another trust signal. And the likes of Google go, oh, that's pretty, that's another good review. It probably doesn't do that. It just seems really weird that every time we get a 5-star review, it seems to have a little bump in a bit more
Mm-hmm.
traffic and maybe more sales as a result. So if asking your clients and customers for reviews is another way of really building that trust and getting your name out there, getting people to recommend you, because that's a really big way of getting shown up in search, in AI. It's building that authority, it's building that trust. So the more reviews you can get, not just on Google Business Profile, but on your social platforms, places like Trustpilot,
Mm-hmm.
TripAdvisor. If you've got a business that can be on there, then get listed, I would say, because
Mm.
the AI in particular looks across the entire internet. It doesn't just look at Google; it looks everywhere, and so we'll pick up your reviews from wherever you've got them, and it will build. It will much more likely recommend you if you've got positive reviews across the web on lots of platforms. And
Mm.
that obviously comes with providing a good personalized service. So
Yeah.
again, it all ties in.
Yeah, yeah, and this is something I want to share because maybe some people has the same concern as I do. I did. I was not creating my Google business page because I didn't want to put my address because I am a solopreneur and I didn't want to share that. But then I learned recently that you can do it in a way that you can say that your services are online, so your address is not showing there.
Yeah,
So I did that, and it's like now I have the opportunity to get Google reviews because of that. So just sharing in case someone is concerned about that, there is a way
yeah,
to do it. You can ask someone that is specialized into that to help you with how to do it. So just wanted to give that as a note.
yeah.
And this that you mentioned big, which I haven't done anything about it. So this is something also to think. I know because I learned a bit of SEO in the past when starting my business, and there in that time they recommended to do some go to the directories and put your names there and all that. I don't know if that's still valid or it's more about finding the more specific to your niche or to your industry. I would love to know your thoughts on that.
The directories,
Hmm.
yeah. So I would say it's worth being on the big ones like Yelp, Yellow Pages. I would never pay for a listing because
Okay.
they often then once you put your free one in, they're trying to get you to upgrade it. I would never bother with that. But it depends your kind of business. So if you work in a specific location only,
Okay.
um, then being in local directories to that area is a really good idea because
Mhm.
people look for local businesses. Um, but you're right, like industry specific directories that you get are really good as well. Um, so I know like one of my clients is a physiotherapist and she's on like the physiotherapist directory, um, and gets visits from there. So it all helps. I wouldn't just sign up to any old random one that you come across that has nothing to do with either your location or what you're doing. But the big ones, the industry specific ones, and the location specific ones. And then, like I say, these profiles on Apple, Bing, Google, um, where you can, I'd have a social media presence. I don't mean you have to have every platform, but obviously, the more content you're producing across platforms, the more you're showing up, and the search engines and AI will see that.
Mhm.
Um, in terms of social media for SEO and AI, so I think Google obviously loves YouTube because Google owns YouTube. So you'll often find that when you do Google something, a YouTube video will come up to show you the answer. So if you can and want to have a YouTube channel, it will really help your content because then you can not only link from your website to that YouTube video and embed it from YouTube rather than taking up all the bandwidth if you just upload a video to your website, but also you can then be discovered on YouTube as well, which will
Mhm.
bring more attention to your website. Um, but if you think about writing a blog, for example, and you're answering like questions people ask roughly to do with what you provide, if you do a video answering the questions, then you're again much more likely to be found when people are searching that question on Google. Like it might show the snippet of your video. So YouTube, I would say, is it's not like vital, but it's a big boost if you're on
Mhm.
YouTube, using YouTube as well to get
Mm.
found. I think Google linked to LinkedIn a lot, and they've just recently, like very recently, there will be starting to show Instagram posts as well
Uh-huh.
now.
Yeah.
So having that same message from your website and fanning out to your socials, to your emails, so that it's really, really clear what you do, who you do it for, how you do it maybe, then
Yeah.
that's like the core of everything, getting
Mm.
that message.
Yeah. And something that I do, and I want to share in case someone want to use the same. I someone told me, and I have been doing that. It's like you can have the Google alerts to see when is your name is like showing on Google. So that's helping. Also, I have my name. I also have around personal brand story. So I can see which type of content or which type of platform Google is getting the information from and is showing. So that gives you the idea of, okay, yeah, whenever I upload a video to YouTube, it's showing my name again. Whenever someone is doing something on LinkedIn or wherever, so it's showing, and you get an idea of, okay, this that I did is showing first, and then the other thing that I did is still not showing up. So it's
Yeah,
also giving you like points of like, okay, this can be something that I focus on or not. So just sharing that this is a free element that you can do. Just search for which is the term that you want to get the notifications, and then you can analyze, okay, what is the result that I am getting.
yeah, they're really good actually. And Google Search Console is
Mm-hmm.
something that if you don't also have, it's completely free. So you set up Google Search Console and it will show you your traffic. It will
Mm-hmm.
show you where it's coming from, the keywords people have put in to find you. And it's just a really good way of looking at, all right, what words and phrases are
Mm-hmm.
working for me? How are people finding me? So I completely recommend downloading, not even downloading, but setting up Google
Mm-hmm.
Search Console. But also, I guess most people have WordPress, Wix, Squarespace, something like that. I know, like, I'm a Wix specialist because I
Mm-hmm.
do all the like design elements and everything as well, including SEO. And on Wix, it shows you where your traffic's come from. If it's come from Instagram, from organic Google search, from paid ads,
Mm-hmm.
from ChatGPT or whatever, it tells you exactly where your traffic's coming from, and obviously like the percentage of your overall traffic. So it's really good to keep your eye on those. I know in WordPress you can download plugins. A couple of my clients have WordPress, so we've got the plugins to get those stats. There's a Google plugin. I can't remember what it's called. Probably just like Google Search Console. I don't know, for WordPress, and just
Mm-hmm.
because it's really important to know where your traffic's coming from, so you know where to focus on what's not working. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe if it's a social media that's not getting you much traction, then is it worth having that social media? Are you making all that content for no reason if it's not really hitting the mark? So it's just a really good way of refining everything that you do rather than waste your time on stuff that isn't working. Um, but worth mentioning for social media, if you write at least one blog every month,
Mm-hmm.
for that's not only good for SEO because you want to write something that's associated with one of your services, products, courses. So it needs to be something to do with something you're selling in some way.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're giving tips, advice, or whatever about a specific area of that issue, for example, then it's always good at the end to link through to the service or the course page that basically resolves that issue that people can book with you or buy your course, and that issue is gone. Because building authority, putting links on your page to another page, is building the authority of that page. So if you have loads of links to one page on your website, then search engines will see this is clearly a page that is an authority page, so we'll try and push it
Mm.
a bit more. So your blogs should act as a way of filtering traffic through to your service or course. But also from your blog, you can pick up little key points of the blog and make content on your social around one of those points. And then it can be, read the rest of my blog or whatever. It's the same with email, because you want everything to marry up, and not just be like, oh, I'll post this day. What should I post about? I don't know. And you've got your LinkedIn saying one thing, Instagram saying something else. You've got a random blog post that is actually company news when no one cares. So everything should fit together. And like I say, everything comes from knowing your keywords, questions people are asking, and who you are serving.
Yeah, 100%. It's like being intentional, being strategic about, okay, I know that I want to offer this as this service, or this my offer. What are the topics and what are the questions that I need to answer for my potential clients, and then how you can bring from the different as uh, elements of your content creation. That could be social media, about anything like podcast or newsletter or whatever, and bringing everyone to the blog article that, as you say, is connected to the call to action, and so on. So being strategic about how everything fits each other, and interact to each other, I think that's key as well. So yeah, thank you for
Definitely.
pointing that out.
No.
So before we wrap up, so any takeaways or anything that we haven't mentioned and you would like to highlight about this topic?
I think consistency is key.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so with SEO, a lot of people, once they get their website, they go, my website's done. But your website is never done, because your website constantly needs blog posts, tweaks here and there to keep it fresh, so that when Google is and other search engines are looking at your website, they can see there's new stuff. It's not just stagnant, because you don't grow when it's stagnant. So a lot of people I've done, I've redesigned their website and I've SEO'd it, and it's built a good foundation. They start climbing the rankings, and then they don't write blog posts, or they don't keep it fresh. So obviously it plateaus, and then their competitors catch up and it starts slowing down. So you post social content every day or every other day usually. So why not create more content for your website? Because the more pages you've got, the more the authority will build. So I would say keep consistent. I don't mean you have to like post something every day on your website like you would social. Even if you can do like write a blog a month or something, just to keep it fresh and keep the authority building. It's like when you go to the gym, you don't go to the gym, hit the certain weight that you want, and then go, oh, got my weight, I stopped going now, and then, put on your weight or whatever. You have to keep it consistent, keep it at a level, otherwise you just
Mm.
fall.
Yeah, and I might add something here. uh, First, just a comment about, you don't need to do all the things at the same time. So especially as we were talking before, solo business owners and or small business owner, we have a limited capacity. So you decide what to focus on. But if website traffic and SEO is one of your focus, then put attention into here, into the consistency, and make a balance between how you are investing the time in creating content for, let's say, social media and your website. I totally agree on that, because you want to keep building that. You want to, and also it's something that is building up. I love, because it's like helping. you are helping grow that power. So you are, as you said, like creating links between pages to grow the authority of specific page that you want and all that. So you are building on something that
Yeah.
is like super long lifetime, because it's not that it's like as a story something is gone. For example, on Instagram, no, here is an article that you can bring people again and again, and maybe you have an article that is answering a specific question, and you can
Hmm.
use that in your social media. As, let's say, you are
Yeah.
talking to someone in the DMs, and then you are sending them to that article. So it's like
Yeah.
something that you can keep using as a resource, even for helping your audience.
Yeah.
And that said, is like, okay, if I want to focus on this because I see the result that is bringing me, then pay attention to it. And also, I always like to say how you can be consistent in different ways. Like, for example, if you think about this as season, and then there is a season where I focus on creating blog articles, and I can schedule them, but I am doing that in a period of time. And then it's like, okay, the next 3 months are covered, and now I move to the something else. Or you prefer to do it a more variety, and then it's like, okay, first week of the month I am doing this, or whatever. So you, like, what I want to say is like, you find your way
Hmm.
of
Yeah.
what works for you.
Yeah.
And for example, I am doing this live series and I am streaming directly to YouTube. So this is my way to put something on YouTube, and later I will create an article where I embed the video. This is my way of creating a piece of content, building something on my website. So find your
Hmm.
way to do it in the, like, see what works for you, and then it's like, okay, I know that I can do it this way. I know that if I say I am going to record a video and upload it to YouTube, probably I will procrastinate and not doing it.
Yeah.
But here is a live conversation. I
Yeah.
am here for it, and I love it. So
Yeah.
that's like knowing myself and knowing what works for me and using that to help your business.
That's it exactly. So this video, or and all the videos you're creating, like you say, it's not only going to help your website when you upload it. It You can probably write a blog piece from each one connected to your personal branding, and you can use clips for your social media, or like things I learned from this conversation with this person post. So it's like an endless stream of content from these videos that you're doing, and for all platforms and everything. So if blog writing isn't your thing, then video, a combination of blog and video, better still. But whatever works for you. I know I struggle myself with social media. To be honest, I haven't posted for at least a month. So I know it can be, and same with blogs. I've just been working on client stuff, so I know it's really hard to find the time, but it will really help. So
Yeah, and every business can find their combination, because I know businesses that they are doing. I usually look for three things: like a way of getting in front of new audiences, a way for nurturing the audience and your relationship with the new and existing one, and a way of selling. And
yeah,
for that, you can incorporate social media, but can be also out of the equation, and you can be using other channels. And I know people that they are using summits for being in front of new audiences, and then
yeah,
they are using email marketing and their website as a way for nurturing the relationship and selling. So they are working with our social media. So I know that there is a lot of conversation around how social media can be one of the ways, but
yeah,
if someone is like totally not interested, they can use it at different ways. And I
yeah,
feel that is using our website is like, is this our place, it's not rented land. So we have a bit of more control there, so it's something interesting at least to have our digital presence there.
yeah,
And it's like, okay, how to put some intention behind, so it's not just for the user but also helping you to show up in the results. So that's why I
Exactly.
feel that SEO is really important in the sense of, okay, you are building already something as a website,
Hmm.
how I put some intention. So it's also not only helping in this way, but also helping with the engines.
Yeah, and like you say, with SEO, it's evergreen. Like it doesn't tend to drop unless you just completely do nothing on your website. It may slowly start declining, but it's evergreen. So if you're producing relevant content, it will build and build and build and build. I mean, I started my first client 3 years ago. Um, they have services, they have a physical shop, and they have an online shop, and they'd never sold anything online before. So I started with them, just not doing much, just not doing too much, and then they saw, like, in the first month they got their first sale, second month they got 5 sales, etc. And now from getting nothing every month, they're consistently getting 10 grand every month, and that's 3 years later now because we've built, 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 and
Mm,
now they're really reaping the benefits from it because the consistency
yeah.
is there, and tying in everything I'm doing on their website with their email campaigns and their social, they've now built this reputation as being, like the experts in their industry. So
Mm.
it takes time, SEO. That's the reason. That's what puts a lot of people off, because it's not like blah blah blah. Do something on your website and then, oh, I'm ranking number one on Google. It is a marathon rather than a sprint, but
Yes.
it pays off if you stick with it.
Mm. Yeah, I love that you said that. I love the analogy with the marathon because I
Mhm.
feel that in not just SEO but other strategies, but in SEO as well, is like it pays off, but you need to have a long-term vision of it and how you are investing for something that is building up, and it's
Mhm.
not just a quick outcome that you get now, but you are building for something long term.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. Okay, so thank you so much. Before we finish, just one last question for you. Like, if you have to describe the intersection of personal brand story and SU strategy in a word of two, what would we be?
A word or two. Vitally important.
Okay.
I think it's essential. It's more essential now than it's ever been.
Mm, nice. For me, I would say that the word that came to mind is reputation.
Yeah.
How personal brand story help with the reputation, and how Google or SEO in general is also building on your reputation. So yeah, thank you for this conversation. Has been lovely to have you. I have homework to do, so I'm sure audience will have
Sorry.
to, but good in a good way. Yeah, so thank you everyone that joined us, and if they have any question, just feel free to reach out to us. They have our links around in the description. Please go and check what Joe does, and how she can help you. Yeah, thank you so much and see you next time.
Thank you. See ya.